Hey guys, we'll get started in just a minute. AR, why don't you try talking?
I'm so tired.
We all
It's
are.
only Monday.
Oh god, it is. Dev, why don't you try talking?
I am somehow slightly more alive and also less alive, so
Yeah, you weren't doing good when I talked to you on, was it Thursday? Like, you were fucking dying.
yeah, literally. COVID sucks, man.
Yeah. I believe today I've hit 2 weeks since the second dose, so I'm now immortal.
Oh,
I-
your
I'm
superpowers kicked in?
I'm pretty sure I have to go fight a McCloud now. And then
Huh.
lightning shoots around and stuff.
Good
Princes of
luck
the
with that.
universe.
Yeah, and it'll probably be a terrible movie at that.
Excelsior.
Hey, looks like you guys can both be heard. Dev, talk one more time.
Or garble, I really want
Okay.
candy.
Yeah,
Actually, I want
well,
the old teeth candy.
that will come up later. I have to keep checking my desk to remember I actually put it there. Okay, you guys ready to go?
Just put it in the show notes so remember that we have to do that.
You guys ready to go?
Give it
Yeah.
its own slide.
Okay. Welcome to the podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a little while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run with the will.
We are Paul for Digimon System Restore.
DevQ and I ban people on Wikimon, but not enough.
And DevQ's on an upswing from her battle with COVID.
So close to getting vaccinated too. I'm so
Yeah,
salty.
you were looking for an appointment when the week before you got it.
I literally got an appointment and then it got canceled and then my parents gave me the plague.
Yeah, today's officially the day where I'm 2 week clear, so I'm good.
I'm at my halfway point between first and second dose. So
Okay.
a week and a half left.
Okay. Your first dose, I think you came out pretty much like a rose, didn't you?
Yeah, first dose didn't hit me at all.
Yeah. Everyone I know, second dose, no matter which of the 2 doses they've gotten, have gotten like completely knocked the hell down.
I have a few people that got through the second one okay, but it's
Yeah.
a minority for sure.
Yeah, but Dev's on the upswing, which is good. And
I
the
miss being able to
gum
taste
joke
things.
finally ends later today. We're basically a year into the joke, which was never supposed to actually take place, but yeah, whatever.
Now it will.
And then episode 45, Activate MetalGarurumon. I still don't like that title translation. It just does not work for me. Like it's a correct translation, but it really should be like launch or go, or even go with like run.
It's
I'd be
very
happy.
sus.
Did you see that started up again this week?
Yes, I know.
The translator put it there again, which feels like a good fuck you. And then people got
for
upset about it
sure.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe they actually used double sus or something along those lines, or extra sus.
If you call it out now, they're gonna just doing it on purpose.
Oh, I'm perfectly happy to see them do it on purpose.
Yeah, now I'm like cheering for it.
Because
Totally.
like you saw, people were getting like legitimately upset. Like people, one or two people thought that maybe we were making a joke when we said that. No, people are like actually like flipping out.
People are actually mad, and it's hilarious.
Yes. Yes, we 100% were not joking about that. Great timing for us to bring it for me to use that example though when we got asked about it, which I don't. Did they ever? Did we ever get clarification on if they were actually talking about that show or if we just happened to pick it?
I think we assumed that.
Yeah,
I'd have to go and check the exact question wording, but
it's hard to tell because stuff like My Hero Academia, someone gets upset about the manga every week.
yeah, of
So
course.
we assume Nagatoro because that was the big one a week or two before then. But great timing though.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a weird episode because here's the thing. I believe AR you didn't like it.
It was continuing to be mired in mediocrity.
I
where we're at right now.
generically liked it as a hey, this is a fun side episode where nothing important happens, except stuff
something kind of important.
happened. Like it's weird. There is no reason for MetalGarurumon to be in the episode at all.
You know what? I think I came around full circle on this one, and I'm at the point where no, nothing important happened in this episode because evolutions don't mean crap in this series. That's where I'm at right now.
Hey, we got to see
MetalGarurumon shows up. Who the hell cares?
No, see, I care because one, the evolution sequence was nice, but not quite as nice as WarGreymon. There's only one thing I didn't like about that sequence, and I feel like I need to get your guys' opinion on it to see if I was the only person who felt. When WarGreymon was floating up, did it feel like something was up with his legs? Like
Looking that close.
It felt like the pose wasn't quite cool, like when MetalGarurumon was floating up. Something about WarGreymon felt odd to me. Although I really liked how they I
honestly wasn't paying attention to the sequence. It started happening.
Oh,
I can take a break now.
I like the sequence. I especially liked how they focused on the MetalGarurumon head quite a bit. Although I felt like
the crest above them.
Although, did it feel like we didn't quite get as much ice as we did flames for WarGreymon? Like almost more low key.
Oh, it's like, oh, here's some ice. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a little reminiscent of like the original series.
And then
sequence.
That's fair. There's an ice motif in the original sequence, but MetalGarurumon himself, other than the actual name of the attacks, are only kind of ice related anyway.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just hitting them with a barrage of weapons.
Yeah, and then he races Black WarGreymon for most of the episode. In both voice and character usage.
The only thing it would have made it better if it was a frickin' train, because that's what Parasimon usually targets.
I have to be honest, I'm still disappointed that we didn't get like a hardcore drift from Garurumon at some point. Like I really expected like the pause to go down and us getting like a skidding effect.
I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, that was like, I was like waiting for it the whole time. Like MetalGarurumon sort of did it at one point in the sky a little bit, but not enough. So the weird thing is this was a very straightforward episode overall, though. Like, minus some amusement at the beginning, it felt like there wasn't much in the way of surprises here. Minus the weird character trait that really should have been brought up a while, because like it makes sense. He likes running with Yamato. They
Yeah,
could have
that was
they could
probably my biggest problem with the
yeah
episode is that
they should
this came up out of nowhere. Like
yeah
it's not wrong, it's nothing
no absolutely,
inconsistent
but
about it.
like
It just would have
mention
been
it.
nice to just introduce it before,
Yeah.
especially since he spent days at a time running with
Yes.
Yamato while Taichi was off having plot. Like
Yeah.
that's totally a good place to put it in. Like just like, I enjoy running with you or
Eh,
something stupid, like some throwaway line like that, and that would have
yeah.
made this episode a,
Yeah.
a lot more
And
Exactly.
palatable.
and then we get Joe and Gomamon as race announcers, and Tentomon there for one line doing a weird imitation of Koshiro, which actually worked for me as humor. And then
I like how he's like turned around and he wasn't there anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Off to do actual stuff.
that gag has been used with Tentomon in multiple shows in the past, where he just is gone after he says something.
Which is, it's hard. He likes to be in there for the random explanation, and then he disappears to go do stuff.
And then
Koshiro is the only one actually doing stuff besides Yamato this episode, so it's kind of important.
Yeah, and then regarding Joe and Gomamon, is this just coincidence, or did that microphone look oddly like an old Digivice? That was on purpose, right?
I thought that was his Digivice.
I thought he literally just like taped his Digivice.
Oh, maybe maybe it was.
He just attached his Digivice to a mic stand so all the other kids could hear him.
See, the way it was drawn, the way I thought it was like a microphone made to look like the old Digivice, but I think you're right. It just was his Digivice strapped to it. That actually
I
makes more sense.
I don't know about the PA system for this particular racetrack and if it's equipped and he has access to it. Because sometimes you gotta hook that stuff up. You might need a maintenance worker.
No, you're absolutely right.
So yeah, that's a nice shortcut.
Yeah, and then the Lilymon cheerleading outfits, which Mimi had to have provided, Takaru had against his will, and which a lot of people before the episode seemed to think that Hikari was wearing PetalDramon's corpse, which was kind of weird. Because before the episode, we only saw her wearing it in like the preview, and people are like, she took some PetalDramon.
Was that a shot of her like looking over Taichi's shoulder or something?
Something like that.
I don't actually saw the image. I know there was a couple other.
It was from the preview where we see her in it, and people are like, "Why is she wearing did PetalDramon somehow survive? Did she take a few flowers to celebrate and made an outfit?"
Yeah. It's like, that's cute that they think PetalDramon will ever come up again.
Yeah, and instead it's just nope.
No,
it has to be Mimi, right? Like, there's no other way that they're just randomly Lilymon based.
I was talking about that on the blog and mentioned that it's like, okay, so somebody actually had to convince Takeru or force Takeru to put that on.
And that's Mimi.
And not only that, but kind of dodge Yamato coming to Takeru's rescue here. And it's like, the more I thought about it, it's like, okay, that was Mimi.
Yeah.
Definitely
absolutely Mimi doing that.
Yeah.
He's employee number something or other.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's just weird because not much really happens in this episode.
No, this was very, very.
The weird thing is I still really enjoyed it. Like, it's not a good episode, but sitting there watching it, I was reasonably happy. Minus that it wasn't objectively that good. Like, sitting there watching it, I was perfectly happy with it, though.
Yeah, there's a couple fun things in the episode, but more or less it was another waste of time.
Yeah, fair enough. Although, you know what actually bothers me about this one? If they had made 2 changes, the episode would have been at least more exciting, if not better. The 2 changes are, 1, don't mention MetalGarurumon in the title, and 2, don't have the narrator wink at it again. Because they actually didn't do any promo photos or videos with MetalGarurumon.
Yeah.
If his name wasn't...
I don't know if that would have made it more exciting because...
Well, I mean in the sense of we're not sure.
Going in knowing this was going to happen, I think sort of like, okay, I'm you just sort of accept that it's going to
Yeah, I
happen
guess that's
in
true.
an episode like this. Whereas if it was a complete surprise, you're sort of just slack-jawed going, they wasted this evolution on this crap?
Yeah, I guess that's true. It just, I guess I'm just getting annoyed at them almost surprising us with the occasional stuff and then the narrator telling us. Now, this time it's different because it was in the title. But, like, you don't have to have Goku tell us everything.
Yeah. Like, Panchomon was a nice surprise.
Yeah, that
was a
one,
good use of a
yeah,
surprise.
That was a delight.
That really was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see more of us not being winked at.
Yeah, but this show always does that.
I know,
and I
but
mean, not even this show. This whole franchise does that. It's just
yeah, no, I know,
like
but
this.
it does. Yeah, yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
there was an episode that was like, I mean, the Tamers episode where Leomon dies was basically titled "Leomon Dies" this episode.
True, but yeah, and then next time we get Angemon versus Devimon, which. So it definitely is connecting us back to the plot because we definitely see Avadamon. But it feels weird to like that we're back to something that feels like it should have happened in episode 20 at the most, or 22, around that range of stuff. So
yeah,
I'm kind of curious.
At this point, you just have to add 20 to
So
all the episode
very
expectations.
I'm just really curious to see how it handles because the problem is the preview looks so good and it's like, man, my heart has hope.
The premise of the episode is so adjacent to the Frontier sequence that it's like, how are they going to do this differently? They better do this differently because it was very clumsy at times.
No, see, they can cheat.
With the whole
they can easily cheat. If Holy Angemon has a proper sequence, most people will not care if the episode is good or bad. If we just get like a crazy good sequence of Angemon evolving into Holy Angemon, most people will not care. It's basically what we said at the War Greymon episode. The episode could be unwatchable, and the sequence hit so hard it really didn't fucking matter. Now, to be fair, that was a decent episode, but huh?
I was too nice to that episode,
and you can't take it
in
back.
hindsight. Yeah,
it's recorded where everyone can hear it.
I gave it a B-, and I'm like, looking back, I'm like, oh wow, really?
Oh, it was. Here's the problem: is the War Greymon stuff was so good that it takes away your focus from that the episode overall was okay.
It absolutely does,
and that's the job of that.
Also,
sort of
plot was still sort of happening at that point.
Yeah. So yeah, if they give us a good Holy Angemon sequence next week's an A, almost no matter what they do. The problem is
I mean, I'm going to definitely be on the lookout at what's going on with everyone else at the time, though. Just given how that episode is framed.
True. We'll see what comes. Now here's the big cheat. Do you think they cheat and split them apart for a few episodes in this?
It wouldn't surprise me, just based on the Frontier adjacentness of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my reference point with this.
Yeah. So we will see what happens next week with the Sword of Hope.
Stabby.
That's still a weird. It's still a weird title for me because that is literally the title of a different Digimon, and I know it's unrelated to the show, but still feels a touch weird. And then, so this is where it gets weirder. So for Golden Week, they're doing a promotion where 12 episodes on various VOD services are going to be free, regardless of subscription, payment, or anything. Which, neat way to do a little catch up to give kids something to watch during a week when very little happens, minus if they go on a trip, because Golden Week is just like holiday after holiday. And state of an emergency has been declared.
Everything.
Yeah, movie premieres have been canceled. They were gonna do same day Blu-ray for Hathaway with English subtitles, and I was gonna get it and be able to watch it. Now that's been pushed back. So, so they're doing this. They gave us the nice artwork of. Does it feel like this art's supposed to be the Oscars?
Kind of.
Like,
is it in a train station?
No, it's maybe it's kind of cheap looking, so it could be.
It just
So
looks
we
like
get
generic award show.
yeah, but doing it hours after the Oscars is kind of whistling. So we get Tai Chi in a tux and Agumon with a boat. Have we seen Agumon in a bow tie before? This seems familiar to me for some reason.
I feel like we've had to have it
Yeah.
at some point.
So yeah, so for Golden Week, the 12 episodes will be free, and they're calling this the best selection. And they had the characters introduce it with text. Now, let's go ahead and look at the best. The idea here is basically either rewatch lapsed fans, new fans, basically giving them a selection of episodes.
The fact that this sequence is would get you caught up pretty quickly tells you how bad they are about actually having fun in this series.
I would disagree because there's plenty of actual plot relevant episodes it just skips because they're trying to show ones that theoretically look cool.
Yeah.
So like you have episodes.
I mean, some of these definitely look cool.
I know, but like you have episode 1 and 2. You don't have 3 or 4, which basically explains the concept of the ongoing series.
That's true. Yeah, 4 seems kind of important.
Yeah. And there's a number of other important ones there because then it skips to 20, which is when Takeru shows up. And you also get 21.
I'd argue that between that is kind of, other than 4, perhaps, kind of not important. Everything between that.
I don't know, especially with some of the ones later.
Because there's that whole string where all they do is go up to perfect.
But there's some later where it kind of goes back. So you get 20, 21, 22, and 24. Those make sense. Although
21 doesn't make sense to me.
21 does make sense because there's enough there for 20, 22, and 24. I think you can get away without 23.
Yeah,
but
you can definitely get away without
23. But you need 21 to help explain what the other kids are doing.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. Then 30 makes sense. 32, we actually all really liked, even though I think looking back, it wasn't a great episode, even though it really worked well. It kind of was like...
I liked 32.
I did, but it was kind of forward looking at what kind of weird rut we're currently stuck in, I think. As much as it was cool.
I would much prefer 32 over what we're getting now.
Oh, I do. And then 33 and 34, which makes sense.
Yeah,
36 feels like a weird one.
I didn't like 33, but it's a very important episode for sure.
36, none of us were huge fans of. I think it actually makes sense to put here. It finishes off that mini plot and it lets Koshiro do something. And then finishing.
Koshiro does kind of get the short end from everything else.
Yeah, and then
although now that I look at it, I don't think there's any Joe episodes in any of these.
Well, Joe gets some focus in the 21.
Does he?
Yeah, where like the talk with his brother and stuff.
Oh, that's the bug out bag episode.
Yeah, that's that one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then ending with Mimi-chan Wars, which makes sense. But that's where you skew back to the early episodes not being there. That is Mimi. Do any of these other episodes actually introduce Mimi in any notable way? Or is it just, look, Mimi?
She's there.
I've long since conceded that this show primarily assumes that you've watched the original.
No, I disagree. They introduce Mimi well in the show.
No, I introduce her fine, but
no,
I think
what I'm saying is this list
very much assume that you've seen the original.
I don't know, because I would think most adults, if they want to rewatch it, they would have Netflix or otherwise are watching it. They wouldn't need to.
I don't know. I just look at this episode and go, okay, what is that? Like, we don't actually know, in context of the series alone, we don't actually know what those crests represent.
Yeah, but that's fun sometimes.
We don't actually know that Tai Chi represents courage and Yamato represents friendship. That is not information that we have yet. And so if that's what we're going on,
I would actually say we do. We haven't been told it. We've been shown it for sure, though.
That's a leap, though.
I don't know,
because I wouldn't have been able to pick out any particular particular crest attribute, especially because they all, I mean, especially for
they're
Taichi,
all
because
a little generic.
They all
a little
involve
bit.
them running into danger.
Yeah, they're all a little generic, but I feel like they have shown us. Maybe not as well as they should have, but I feel like they have. Especially in the case of that, maybe the one thing the newest episode actually did show, even if it was done thinly, was the friendship, and then MetalGarurumon does nothing.
But that's because we know what we're looking for. Like, if we know we're looking out for, show signs of friendship, we're seeing them, as we are with all of them. But
I don't know, because
if you're not necessarily aware that this is all like internal attributes that they're coming to light.
But that also gets back to earlier episodes though, like I don't remember what the title was. The beach one.
It's been a problem the whole. It's been a problem the whole series.
No, see, I don't think it is. The beach one really does show Yamato thinking of them as friends rather than tools, and then we see something happen to Garurumon, which is followed up on later. I don't remember what the episode title. It was
when they're going after the castle
fortress,
or whatever.
Fortress run.
Yeah, I think that one does actually clearly show us friendship. Maybe better than most of them have been, but it definitely did show it to us.
That was a good episode. But that was one of the best episodes of the series, actually.
I don't know. I think I'd rank that one kind of in the middle.
That was, I think, one of the. It was one of the A's.
It's hard to.
I think I've given out like 3 or 4 A's, and that was one of them.
Yeah, it's hard to think about ranking mentally when we're up in the 40s now. Because I say the middle. It probably is closer to the top, but I don't think it's that high overall.
This is one I'd love to go back and re-rank all these later, but that's.
Well, we'll do that when we're done.
Yeah.
Did we do that with Appmon at the end?
No, but being able to watch it again on Crunchyroll, I got to redo all my grades. I get a second shot at all the grades for Appmon, which was nice because there were a lot of changes. There were a few shifts up and down for the show. Kind of wish I could do that for Cross Wars and Try too.
But that's a lot of episodes.
Yeah. And I'm not rewatching this series for sure.
That's fair. Oh, they will put that evolution sequence on repeat over and over.
Did we lose Mark?
You guys not hear me?
Anymore.
We lost you for a minute there.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I was Break the Chain finally got a proper digital release. I think what happened was I was coughing and then I forgot to unmute myself.
That's more than likely what happened.
Yeah. So Break the Chain finally came out, and they kind of tossed it out at us with only a few hours warning. And I need to do another article about this, but I've kind of been waiting because they've started throwing it up on other services, like I believe in the US at this point it's on iTunes Store, Apple Music, Spotify. I think it was up on YouTube Music. Like I think because it's not co-branded with the show, they're able to release it. So, but they've also I haven't put it up because they've misspelled the title, which makes it hard for people to search for. They spelled break.
Only 3 words.
BRAKE. They had it as on a few services. So I'll give that a day for things to hopefully,
maybe they changed it just because of this episode for the racing pun.
I also think that now that it's out, we can probably guess why it took so long. I think the full version probably wasn't done because of COVID and delays and studio stuff when the War Greymon episode came out, and they decided to wait for a time when it was really focused to release it, which is now the second one.
Would make sense.
That's what I'm guessing happened. It really is one of the. It's probably in the top.
Song.
I'd say it's in maybe even the top 5 or 10 Digimon songs, which says a lot when you consider just how much music Digimon has.
I don't know about Digimon songs, but definitely one of the top evolution songs.
Yeah, and this one's nice because he not only sung it, he composed it, he arranged it, he wrote the lyrics. This is basically all Takeyoshi Tanimoto. So
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, this one is basically all him. which is weird when you consider I believe the first single he had was Tamers. So yeah, feels weird that how often people swing back to Digimon. So
Digimon has really fucking good music.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of it too, just like a disgusting amount of music.
Well, remember, a bit after Frontier ended, they released a box set which was to celebrate the box being the 100th Digimon music release. And that was like right after Frontier. They had hit 100.
Was that was the giant compendium?
No, that one was only like 4 or 5 discs.
Oh.
Most people remember it because it's that photo of like all the kids in
all
Digimon.
the kids.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of.
yeah, that was the packaging for that. But yeah.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, that was that I imported was new. We've all gotten very old. And then we had a lot of people actually wondered where nicer Digimon masks were, and now they're out of. These actually look really stupidly nice
I want them
from
so much.
Turn, and Turn made a Digimon Adventure version of their logo. Yeah, and their online store does ship internationally, so there's Agumon, Gabumon, Tailmon, Patamon. They come with little plastic name tags shaped like the Digivices. They also are doing hairbands. I feel like Gabumon works better as the hairband than the mask, don't you?
Yeah, Gabumon in particular. Like the others I really like as the mask, but Gabumon you just need that.
Yeah.
You need
Although
the
I will
horn in
say,
the right
I
spot.
think Tailmon really works well as the hairband also.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But the mask works really well
Oh
for
no,
Tailmon as well.
absolutely. Yeah. And prices on these aren't. I'm not gonna buy them, but like if someone wants like a nice quality mask or hairband, they're not terrible prices. About 25 each.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those things that just popped up in the middle of the afternoon one day. It's just like, really, I'm gonna stop doing work for this. Or just I will say I don't like that press photo of the Agumon mask. Something it's like misshapen or something. I don't know. It looks a bit odd to me.
Hmm.
And then the new V Jump is spread out throughout any given episode when it has it, but Rear Eyes they went over the Metabot stuff along with a lot of people were quite happy to see who would be showing up in the game because their game's gone. We get to see MetalGarurumon, which means we'll see Jazamon and those guys from Lynx.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like didn't it feel like they should have been added a while ago?
Probably.
Yeah. And then they show
Gotta keep
off
you in suspense there.
yeah, and then they show off adventure stuff, which they showed us Holy Angemon, which
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, a marketing magazine, that's what it is. And they showed the Dukemon kit again, which is nice. But then the Vital Bracelet finally went over Shroudmon formally. It appears the idea to not show him was that they were showing him off as new stuff was coming out since he was the final secret-y thing, even though we knew about it. V Jump had a relatively nice preview spread, I actually have to say, like for the new stuff coming out. And they showed off Bla- the Blastmon sprite I kind of love because it looks kind of stupid. Like it has that kind of goofy look that works well for Blastmon. And
I love it.
I never say his name right. Let me try. Regula Klusmon.
I think it's Regalecus.
Close enough. And then they showed off Blizzard Fang and Volcanic Beat, which is out at this point. And this tells you how quickly they canceled those DP gyms. They're advertising them here. Like
after they're already canceled.
Yes. Now, of course, the first one, the pre-orders were closed. They're not doing any more. They have a little tile here that's bigger than the Metabots one, and the Metabots one doesn't mention a separate release, which we knew that they were doing quickly. But yeah, so oh well. And then
Hey, we got
the
ours.
Then the late April app update to add online battles for the app. They've delayed it. They haven't said when. They hope mid-May, but they do not know at the moment. Reaction to this was actually generally pretty good. I thought most people went, I'm glad they're spending the time to do it properly rather than rushing it. I actually I would have thought there would have been a lot of whining, to be honest. But it was actually pretty positive, which was neat to see.
I mean, considering these are probably like the same people that would play something like Pokemon Go, which was rife with rushed updates that basically set the entire thing on fire and were glitchy as hell. It's sort of like, yeah, we'll wait a little bit.
And then, so this is where we get where stuff pops up with like no pomp and circumstance, and it's not even completely there yet. So we knew the Digimon X was going to come out this summer because they told us. So white and blue went up to pre-order on Amazon with no anything, but it's there. And then the next morning, there's a color none of us have ever seen before. It's green and blue, and it has purple trim, and literally every joke has been the cups in Miami Vice.
God, it's like Lisa Frank threw all over. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that actually, it's one of those things where the color 100% are terrible choices that 100% works. Like, it really does.
It screams the 90s.
But we don't have any of the assumption here is based on the photos and everything is that the blue X is the signifier for the version. So we don't have any of the red X version one yet. So that seems strange. Are they just doing this as a wave and then they're going to do a wave 2? So we'll see what pops up there. But in theory, July 15th, $20 each, so no price increase from the others. I suppose they do have to go a bit wilder with this one because fans would have already bought these because Premium Bandai USA was selling them.
And this is a really good price for them, too.
Yeah. So we'll see what changes may have been made. We don't expect much in the way of changes, but hopefully some cleaning up. So we'll see. But yeah. I wish we could say it was a surprise, though, but man, these leaked like 1,000 different times. Stores were pretending to be Bandai trying to get us to take down the news.
I remember that.
We're like a generic Gmail address sending me an email going, I'm so-and-so from Bandai. That hasn't been announced yet. You have to take that down. And it's like,
fuck you, make me.
I don't work for Bandai. And then I never heard from that email address ever again. And that was coincidentally a few hours after 2 different stores that were credited in the article asked me to remove their credit because they weren't supposed to put those listings up. And that is not my business. So,
that was your fuck up.
Yeah. And then, man, we've said it before. There is a theme with the new poll is which Holy Beast subordinate do you share a Zodiac with? Now, we've pointed out a few times. They've completely stopped doing any poll that might potentially be seen as having substance. Like,
I wonder why.
Yeah. When is the last poll we got that arguably might have had substance to it?
Oh god, it was like 4 months ago at least.
Yeah, like I'm scrolling through old ones to see which Pulsemon, vote for reference book Digimon, vote for the Pulsemon. It may have been that favorite X antibody Digimon one.
Yeah, that counts.
I think that was the last one that you could argue had substance, and that was. Let's see, when did that open? That opened in January.
You could. This one could be an interesting data gathering. Try to extrapolate birth years from the data.
But I mean, where
I'm not going to try to do that.
No, I know, but I mean where the polls you could pretend they had something of substance in them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they've completely stopped that. I'm sure they'll try again, but we'll see. So, yeah.
I really actually kind of want to see the results for this to see if there is one like complete straggler And if something somehow dominates.
Yeah. Although it's weird was
At least
they
I didn't have trouble voting for this
it would
one.
have it would have been nice if they provided the information about which is which.
Um, it sort of the English translation I saw sort of did. Well, at least
Oh,
it said
yeah, to
what
the
the
animal,
animal was.
but it didn't tell you which lines up with which because it's not
Oh, it
exactly
doesn't
on.
tell you the year, like, you have to
No,
figure that out for
but
yourself.
also
Yeah, I suppose.
but it's based on Chinese zodiac, so that starts in like February, I think.
February-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
think
that's
I don't know, a lot of people know what their Chinese zodiac. I know what mine is.
well, most people know the year though. If they're born right
Yeah.
around the beginning of the year, then it could be a
Oh,
different
yeah.
sign, is what I mean.
Okay, so those
Good luck,
Aquarius
people.
or
Yeah,
Capricorns out there are gonna
yeah,
be in trouble, but
yeah. And then a Digimon Tamers thing yet again. In May, the Digimon Kitchen Car returns, and it's Tamers themed. And man, that's actually really good minimal art that has been reverse engineered. I believe all of this has been reverse engineered off when Adventure did it last time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Minus the D arcs, I think. Yeah, but that's also
Gilmon's so cute.
where the a success raises all blah blah blah. Where because they did this stuff
mhm.
for Adventure, they have these assets that they can use to do it for Tamers without spending too much, which means Tamers gets it. And they haven't announced the menu yet, but they have said there'll be Takata and Gilmon themed drinks and Kulumon cupcakes.
Yay.
And my dream is that we will get to see Chiaki Tanaka eating a Kulumon cupcake, or at least
Oh,
find out he got one.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he's gotta be here for this.
yeah, and there will be 8 coasters as bonus items, which I'm gonna go ahead and guess character art. And
Well,
look,
yeah.
coincidentally, on the banner they show 8 characters.
Mhm.
It's almost like that's what they plan to do.
Yeah, which
So
is
A
fair.
mystery.
now, to be fair,
Sorry for all the Rio fans out there, but these
now
are the 8.
to be fair, I would 100% love to be wrong and to not just have it be the stock art and to have it be new art. But I'm expecting the
Something like
stock
the
art.
graph art stuff would be really cute.
Well, we're already getting something like that, aren't we?
Yeah, because
Yeah, we
they'll
have
be
graph
Kind of
announcing the
art.
like the
graph art stuff
stylized
soon.
stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know what they should do? It should be all those 8 characters, but done like the Gilmon in the logo.
Exactly. I would love that.
Yeah. So that will be in May at both the Animate Ikebukuro head office, which I just noticed now I misspelled, and Tokyo Tower. So we'll see what other food items they have. Any guesses on any other weird food items? I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
we're
Gomamon's not in this one, so we can't go with obvious
I
low-hanging
feel
fruit.
like we're gonna get some sort of momentai pastry.
Yeah.
Some sort of like ice cream scoop.
Granamon's is just gonna be a can of Red Bull.
I got an idea for a good one. Are you ready? Impmon is a duo of cookies themed after Impmon and his tamers, but one of which is spicy and you don't know which.
Oh God. We better get Guillemot bread in this.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be like a cornet, and they're gonna call it Gilmon bread. Can't you
Yeah.
just see it? It's gonna be like a chocolate cornet. It's gonna have the
Mm-hmm.
little ears on it as Monica
Yeah.
wafers, and they're gonna call it Gilmon bread. That's 100% what they're gonna do. So
It's gonna be a pineapple.
we'll have an update on that, and then they're back to going nuts with card stuff. So
That's
Oh
a
my
nice
god.
break we had last week.
yeah, that was a weird break also. So they announced the May event card stuff. So Tamer Battle Pack 5 still around. The Pulsemon card is still around. And then earlier today they showed off and they announced it for May also, the first anniversary adventure pack. And it turns out these are they're not boosters, but they call them like 4 card sets So you get the kid, child Digimon, adult Digimon, perfect Digimon. Each pack includes 4 and their participation prizes. All parallel cards. I actually like the designs of all these. Although does it feel weird that the Digimon all got new art and the kids didn't?
It's the same shit.
And I think nearly all of these or all of these already have parallel cards for the kids using the same art. So
they got lazy. Especially
yeah,
if there's so much card art coming out in general. They're like,
no,
screw
yeah,
it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide which one's my favorite.
I kind of like Gomamon pretending he's a cat.
I actually like the really weird Angemon art where, like, I don't know if it's the perspective or the proportions seem slightly off, but something about it seems kind of dynamic and neat to me. Like, it's not drawn the way Angemon normally is. It's almost like he's a little short. I'm not quite sure how to put it, though. And then we got Genkumon from Booster Set 6, which looks nice. V-Jump showed off a bunch of Kazuna cards. So we got the Bond modes, Agumon, Gabumon, Taichin Yamato, which this is, am I wrong or is this the first appearance of the original version of them in the card game? Because it's always been the new ones, hasn't it?
For the season 1 kids, it is, yeah.
Yeah. So this is.
I mean, it's weird calling Kazuna the old, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then we get 2 versions of Eosmon, and people arguing over whether that is or is not Poopamon. Like, it doesn't quite look like Poopamon to me. Although I do understand when people say it is, but I'm curious to find out if he gets, like, a baby card in that set, and if it is or not. If it is, it feels kind of like a purposeful redesign rather than an art thing, though, to me at least. What do you think?
Hard to say. I'd probably need like better resolution because I'm looking at everything on my phone and
okay.
Doesn't like me.
It just doesn't quite feel like Poopamon to me. It just seems a little bit off. And then we get
ears.
Yeah. And then we get a slightly unnumbered booster we have the logo for EX01 Classic Collection. The logo is based on the old Adventure and card game logo, which looks nice there. And I mean, I know what I expect this to be, but we actually don't know. Everyone's kind of just been guessing. It feels like it's going to be just new cards using using profile art or art from old cards from the Hyper Coliseum, right? Doesn't that feel like what this is going to be? You guys still there?
Yeah,
physically,
I
but not mentally.
Yeah.
Yes. So seriously though, what do you think this is going to end up being?
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got previews of English cards, seemingly because they are trying to clear up a mistake, which feels strange. So Bulkomon, Omnimon X, and Rise Greymon. Rise Greymon is coming with the premium pack. Bulkomon and Omnimon X they put up because they were showing off rule clarifications. So first off, they went with the worst Bulkomon name translation. Can we all agree on that? Like everyone, and then they spelled X antibody twice right next to each other on Omnimon.
Hyphenated too.
It's like, can they just?
But
is there anyone doing
it's not an antibody? It's antibody.
Yes, but then right below they spell it the way you would expect them to spell it. It's right.
If you're gonna do it wrong, why don't you do it wrong in this fine print?
At least do it wrong consistently, is what we're saying. Yeah, so the Rise Greymon one's weird because they've been very stingy with promo cards. Like they've released them all, but they've been very stingy with giving them away. When you buy the premium pack, you get 2 of these, but these were actually more rare ones in Japan. This is the winner's card equivalent, not the normal one. You get 2 of them in the pack. So this is the one that's supposed to be harder to get, and they've made it so it's easy. I don't know, it's weird. And then Fun Digica did various matches. Card Battle did their follow-up to last week where they actually got to customize their decks, which was neat. Road to Digimon Card Master did a starter deck 7 and 8 introduction, and I always like when we get the printable playmats, to be honest.
The
This
art on
time
them is really good.
This time is Gilmon and Vmon, and yeah,
They're
it's
adorable.
nice. Yeah. And then yeah, the card stuff's interesting this time because I'm curious about that adventure pack. That feels like that's gonna stick around for a while, don't you think? That doesn't feel like that's gonna be a 1-month thing.
Got a multiple use promotional kind of thing.
That's what it feels like, at least to me, but who knows? It's hard to tell with these because like the Pulsemon card, we're kind of 2.5 months into it, I think. So we'll see what pops up with that. Although it feels like when they first announced it, we should have guessed what it was based on it being 4 cards per pack, 32 cards total, 8 kids. That math just lines up too well. Yeah.
But then again, we had so much card shit thrown at us.
We get so. You are correct there. We get so much of it, we never really know, and we it's sort of duck and don't get hit.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would just like, can we just get an extra layer of quality control for the names for the English card game, though, please? Please. Just...
I don't think there's anyone like doing any kind of spell checking on this.
No,
at all.
Yeah.
So I think what they're doing. I think what they're doing is I think they've been provided a list of names, and the names use the common English names for ones that have them, and if not, it's whatever name Bandai's using, whether they've double checked it or not. So I think that's what's going on because, like any character who has a proper name, it's generally been used, or if there's been multiple names, the one that makes the most sense to be used has been used.
I mean, they have used Omegamon in English releases before.
But those have generally been ones handled by Bandai Asia, though. Those haven't generally been where it's been a... Yeah. So I think that's what's happening. But we'll see. And then Konaka needs to stop. It is tiring to fucking do these.
Don't stop. I love it.
It's exhausting. And it's more shocking that I'm able to almost make them, at least to me, coherent, because if you read it, a lot of it is him just watching the episode and like, this happens. So I'm scrolling through like going, okay, is there something here that makes sense for me to stop and write? And it happens a lot.
It's a lot of this happens because of this guy.
Yes.
It's like wall of text.
Or like him stopping and talking about Ultraman or Gamera.
So this scene reminds me loosely of this movie I saw back in the 70s.
Yeah, and what's weird is it's funny because a lot of people would think that a writer wouldn't like to do this. He loves pointing out when they do something that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it's nice because a lot of writers will try to pretend that everything they do is perfect.
Mm-hmm. And he's also very open about the fact that they had no idea what the ending of the show was going to be at the start of it.
Yeah. Well, also,
like he goes through that process. Which
what I like though is and it kind of shows that he's very much aware of what the perception of Tamers is, because he will very much point out that like this is something that he gets credit for, and that wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll be like, this episode had a horror themed. It wasn't me. The multiple episodes where he's like, oh yeah, this episode was a haunted house. I had nothing to do with it. And he's like, I didn't ask for scenes with Renamon to look hoary. It was written by Yoshimura, who wrote the Pinocchiomon episode of Adventure.
Which explains a few things.
Yeah. Or like, you can tell he's very happy to work with Kakudo again.
Yes.
Yeah, he very much likes
Konaka and Kakudo do seem to be BFFs. I love it.
And he was also very happy anytime anyone from WtW became involved, even though he never met any of them. When he did his guest episode on WtW. This is the type of thing where we can't really go over it because there's just too much.
Just read it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and a few times I tried to add in details to add clarity that might not explain it. Like when he gives a lot of credit to Norio Sasaki for the episodes he directed. Like, he's very excited having him there, but he was also only there for 2 episodes at the beginning. And he's someone who pops up a lot in Digimon. So yeah, it's definitely worth reading. Really, you should try to read through the whole thing using a translator, but at the very least, read through all the stuff that I put up, because yeah. And then
fodder.
Yeah, and then we got profile art. So first, Shroudmon makes sense because he showed up in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Great King Sukumon, and some people were upset they actually called him Great King Sukumon.
I mean, wasn't that the name in the game?
A lot of people like using the word Dio in English, so I think a lot of people thought he was going to be called Sukumon Dio. Yeah. So Great King Sukumon, and the art is not. I don't think the art's what people. I think people expected it to just be like a really basic Sukumon image, and then they would throw on a crown. Instead, we get a giant Sukumon, we get sparkling stars, we get a Sukumon riding him.
It's like he's being piloted.
Yeah.
Come on,
and his proportions.
Well, usually Chumon's on regular Sukumon all the time, so.
And his proportions don't feel quite the same as Sukumon. It feels a bit more bottom heavy and bigger arms, I think. At least that's what it feels like to me. I could be wrong, though.
Are we analyzing the ratios of the spiral of the glowy poop?
What else are we going to do with it? Oh, no. They have a new one to use if they do the parody poster again.
I don't know if they can go back to those parody posters after all the Metabots love.
I don't know. What happens if they add them in the game as like a Sentai team? They could add them to... It could be like Sentai Skumon. And then it just literally just be them all like Sentai Power Rangers. I think people would love that.
When they get around to next April Fool's Day and we're on episode 100, they'll just do some sort of a One Piece parody.
Go Pooper Rangers.
And then Wave 3 of the Shoto figures are out, and they put up some photos of those, including outside the recording booth of the show. I'm constantly surprised each wave how nice these look, considering how basic and cheap these are. Like, I keep forgetting they actually kind of made them nice.
Yeah, actually, Barnes & Noble's been getting them in pretty gradually, so I actually picked up a little.
What have they been charging for them?
It's nice, like $12.
That's actually pretty good because I think retail for these are like $7.50 or $8. So importing for $12, that's not bad.
Yeah. Still amuses me how Zudomon is so much smaller than Lilymon.
Zudomon has a lot of detail though on it. Like if you look at, like
it's all proportions, but
yeah, I can tell where the budget went for Zudomon. They actually like gave him an odd amount of detail. Like if you look at him and even look at Lilymon and Omegamon, yeah, they really did like.
Zudomon is swole.
He's like a He-Man figure.
Yeah.
No, he can't be like he can't be like a He-Man figure. People have bought Zudomon.
He doesn't have like the loincloth in it, but yeah, I see the
people buy Zudomon. Although, am I weird? Did they make the hammer like oddly nice? Like looking at the photo,
it has like a nice metallic sheen.
Yeah, the hammer. I feel like I'd have to judge like actually
in person. One. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we have art from Social Art for episode 45. I like the weird SD, not quite MetalGarurumon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you guys sent in a lot of questions ahead of time this time. So in the chat, you guys start throwing them up. We're going over these. Someone wants to know if we'd go over any of the international discs for Kizuna. No, not because they're not worth doing. It's just I'm not going to import them. I have the Japanese disc. I have the US disc. Any other disc that anyone wants covered, I mean, you can contact me if you want to send it to me for me to do it, but I'm not importing. I already own it twice.
The
I will
ship's
buy.
expensive.
Give us a bunch of scans.
Yeah, scan it because one guy from the UK actually sends a bunch for their discs. So you can scan it and we'll put it up, but there's just nothing for me to cover for the movie. I've already done it twice. If we get a 4K release, I'll import that, whatever country gets it, but yeah. Mark said he got a new monitor, did the super thing he did for Hacker's Memory work on it. I went and checked what I wrote about Hacker's Memory. He's talking about super sampling. It would work, but there's no real reason for me to try it again. Super sampling is just when you run something at a higher resolution so that it shows smaller, and that kind of does anti-aliasing and other stuff to improve the picture. It will work, but probably not as well as on my old lower resolution monitor. Then someone wants to know, have you had good conversations off the show that wouldn't work as a topic on the show? I don't know. I think we could do a Nene topic, don't you?
Yeah, I was gonna immediately go back to that weird time we spent like 5 minutes just gushing over Nene Amano for some reason.
Yeah, I don't
That
even.
was great.
Nene is just fucking
like,
awesome.
I
He's a
remember
goddamn ninja with a lab coat.
Yeah, I don't remember what prompted that. I do remember it was an episode of Adventure I don't think any of us liked.
That's not narrowing it down.
Well, I said that none of us liked.
It might have been like, hey, this looks like it was animated by that guy who likes to animate the Nene scene.
Oh, the shiny Nene. That was it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was that.
It's like you can tell when that animator is on deck right now.
And then me and Dev had one. It was like Thursday, I think, Dev, when people started freaking out about Survive because they realized that GameStop had displays that they've had for over like a year and a half, and people thought it was new. And
they really just printed out the damn logo on a box and slapped it there and said, "Fuck it."
But Dev made a joke that's, if someone made fake cover art, people would jump at it. And then me and Dev just started fake spitballing horrible covers like, no, do etchy art, get the old English logo, take the X from the Digimon X logo and say it's been changed to Digimon Extreme. And we were just like spitballing terrible ideas for nonsense.
Digimon Extreme and Knuckles.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sad I didn't think about that one. But yeah, it was literally just like a thing of every horrible art. Etchy cover, violent cover. I think Dev, you said one that was just the character art on black with nothing. I think Dev said, I don't remember. There was one that was like, it was literally like just throw it into MS Paint and it'd be 5 seconds. And I think that was it, but I don't remember.
I forget. My memory is completely trashed from fever.
Yeah, that was when you were trying to find distractions from COVID, and I was not working at the time, so I was very happy to help distract you.
It's like I'm suffering horribly, and my mental health has like spiraled into complete shit.
Yeah.
Entertain me.
Yeah, that's actually what happened. Then Mathemagician wants to know, now that we have MetalGarurumon, do you think the eventual next Omegamon will be another Feather Miracle or something more clearly done by Taichi Yamato? I don't know. Go ahead, Air.
I think it will. I think at this point it will be something done by Taichi and Yamato, but I think there will be feather imagery involved. Like I think that Ophanimon and Seraphimon will have something to do with facilitating this, but it will be primarily centered around Taichi and Yamato.
I feel like that's roughly my answer. I feel like it was a completely different answer if you asked back after Omegamon appeared last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like that they showed Omegamon a few times early, and now it's a wait to see. I think. I don't know. What are you expecting, Dev?
I have zero expectations at this point. Just like whatever relates to whatever figure they're trying to sell.
Okay. Dev says it will be Alter S.
Exactly.
And this one has nothing to do with me, so flip a coin in my head. Dev, you go ahead.
That's like have AR or DevQ seen HDR? It comes up sometimes and wonder what they thought of it. I'm a broke ass bitch, so like almost none of my stuff is like HD. My monitor is like an ancient hand me down, so I literally just don't give a shit.
Yeah, same. I have not seen any HDR anything because I don't leave the house.
I have the excuse that that's my job, so if I wanted to work on that stuff, I kind of had to upgrade the monitor in that case, the TV in that case. My computer monitor does HDR, but does it horribly, so it's actually just disabled. So yeah. Ramon wants to know: do we think Beelzemon would ride Machmon like he does with his normal motorcycle? If he had to, I guess. I mean,
sure, why not?
Yeah. And then, does Toei recently buying up a number of known franchises do anything negative for Digimon? Let me go ahead and. Yeah, I had read this, but it does need to be like.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about this before.
Yeah, so.
Like, what kind of franchises is he
okay,
getting?
so. Most older anime fans know AIC, even though they aren't that huge. They're a production company. They're probably best known for stuff like Tenchi, Battle Athletes, and they've kind of been doing more with old franchises lately. So they've been expanding past what they've been for a while. So they partially sold various franchises to Toei, which they now both co-own, ones that they plan to develop for. So we don't know all of them, but we do know a few, and the franchises themselves probably tell us their plans. So one of them's Megazone, which they've been developing new Megazone lately. Hades Project Zeramar, Dangaio, Bubblegum Crisis, Gall Force, and Tenchi.
Ooh, Bubblegum Crisis.
So does it have any real effect on Digimon? Not really, minus that Toei has more franchises now, but
having Tenchi gets us closer to the Digimon Harem game we always wanted.
Oh no, here's where it gets stupider. The most recent Tenchi series is Motonaga directing it.
Nice.
The most recent Tenchi OVA series that ran for like 2.5 years and just finished like a month ago is the director of Tri. So it doesn't really have an effect on Digimon specifically, because one, Digimon fans really do underestimate just how valuable Digimon is to Toei and Bandai. Because you do get people going like, it's barely in the top 10 sometimes. Getting in the top 10 at all is an insane achievement. Yeah. So they co-own it. It's more. It appears to more be that AIC is expanding before an anniversary, and realistically, they just can't pump out all this stuff. So they need someone to co-own it that will put the money in to do it.
Really, the only connection I can think of here is that we might have some really cool possibilities for April Fool's content next year.
Yeah. Oh, now you already got the idea in my head of the joke.
Your imagination is running wild.
It's literally just the Tenchi Digimon joke. Softball, easy joke.
I'm sorry, my brain just keeps going right into Bubblegum Crisis.
Same. I'm going with Bubblegum Crisis. We're gonna have MetalGarurumon racing boomers next April Fools.
Yeah. Then Galhart wants to know, besides Digimon, what series franchise do you guys know that has very inconsistent English translation for character names? For me, it was Dragon Quest up until early 2000s. Honestly, Digimon isn't as inconsistent as people think. It does definitely have issues, but it's mostly that most of the inconsistencies that Bandai US kind of always refused to change the names to the show unless they had to. That's where the biggest inconsistency is.
I'm struggling to think of too many that, given how many different hands are in the pot, that would do a whole lot worse.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Like, honestly, I remember early, Mario games where a lot of the translations got mixed up.
Yeah.
And that was all, like, Nintendo or Nintendo of America. And they'd mess up with, like, calling Goombas Kriebos and all that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any. So the problem
Nothing
is
comes
just,
to mind for me.
like, Digimon just isn't, like, it definitely has issues. It's just not quite so inconsistent that it comes across as in the way that you occasionally do have a franchise that trips over itself, but generally those aren't things that stick around. So, I mean, I guess you could argue people arguing about Robotech and Macross, but
I
that's not
mean,
even really inconsistent. That's just
that's
different
not, yeah,
things.
that's just the adaptation is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We were asked about Harada being asked about a Digimon fighting game, and we'd be like, I don't know. I like him going, I have nothing to do with Digimon, and that was his entire answer. Yeah, that's the producer
Digimon
behind the
fans
Tekken
keep
games.
bothering random people.
The logic behind people ask, and they've asked before, is that, well, he does fighting games for Bandai, therefore Digimon. He has nothing to do with Digimon. His answer was literally, I'm not involved with Digimon, or whatever it was, and that was it. Would we like to see Digimon fighting game again? If it's done well, sure.
Yeah, I'm
last
always down
one
for
was
it. I want to
literally
see.
the worst.
I want to see more involvement with the kids, like the kids representing or the kids having their Digimon in the mix rather than
Hey,
just the
you
Digimon.
see, you can't complain about that, AR, because you get upset whenever they ride them into battle in the show. How do you think the
Yeah,
game's
but
going
if
to
it's
do it?
in a fighting game context, I'd be here for that.
It's
I
literally just
want
going
to
to be
see
the
small children beating each other up.
Yeah, that works too. Like, I just have the Masaru open. Just climb the ladder and the final boss is Masaru.
Yeah. And then someone asked, in the past, you've talked about how a story not finishing or telling you how something ends isn't necessarily a plot hole, but just a story. Even if it upsets you, has a story element not being brought back been something that upset you? I
This
mean,
is
I
hard.
feel like that's yes. Without me even knowing what AR and Dev's answers would be, I feel like that's yes for everyone, isn't it?
It is, like, I know that I can guarantee that there are things in the past. I can't think of any examples right now
I
where I was, like,
I have I have a
upset
cheat
about
answer
something.
because it was on sale last night and I bought it. They did a remaster of the comic book Marvels, which was like what made Alex Ross famous in the early '90s. Is basically a photographer for the Daily Planet, and it's all nice painted artwork from his perspective, if like all the Marvel universe in the '60s, basically. And his daughters bring home a mutant girl, and she has no powers. Her face just looks different. And he's worried about, what's going to happen to his family. People find out they have a mutant kid. Regardless, though, he does the right thing because, you help people. And someone sees her not at the house but elsewhere, and she gets scared, runs back and hides. And when he wakes up the next morning, she's gone, and there's like a scribbled note on crayon about how she's worried they'll get hurt for helping her. Thank you, and they don't ever go back to her. She's just gone, and the story doesn't go back. He's upset, the other character's upset, and then the story continues. And the end. You don't find out what happens to her. Years later, they did do a sequel, and you do find out, but in the original story, that's just it. They never mention her again, minus that. So, yeah, that was something that was upset because when I was 8 or 10 when I read it, and that's one of those things that kind of eats at you a little bit because
If
Yeah.
I am concerned.
yeah, I know. It eats at you because that's the type of thing that matters. And it was very upsetting to not have it, but also it kind of mattered to not tell you, if that makes sense. And I think it does. So
I'm
yeah,
gonna leave I'm gonna leave this one open because my wife and I are finally going back and watching all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and I'm sure something will come up in watching all that. Just those
Oh,
just
I'm
seem
sure
to be
something will, but yeah.
something will piss me off. It's just the way those are made.
Yeah. I should have gone last because that one can't really be topped, can it?
I would if I could think. I'm just like it's something like it's. I know it's something that happens. Like it's like I'm sure there are a couple examples in Digimon I can come up with. I'm just trying to think outside of that. I'm also trying not to think of sitcoms and such.
Kanaka brought up the diamond thing. The digital space from the one episode that tries to kidnap Gilmon.
Yeah, I remember that.
That didn't make me mad though.
No, it doesn't. But
really
he points out that you never find out where it came from or who sent it.
Yeah, like there's like those things exist.
Yeah, I guess that's not upsetting
actually,
though. I guess.
Yeah, like they're obviously like there's every season has a bunch of that stuff. It's just something that actually makes you makes you frustrated.
Did Galhart send in this one? I thought this one was sent in anonymously, but he's saying thank you, or is he saying thank you for the other one we asked?
The previous.
Okay.
That was the fighting game question, probably referring to.
Okay. Okay, we'll let you guys finish up questions, but for now, while you guys get your last chance, it is time for. We've promised it. Gum.
Oh yes.
So
Mark's gonna eat gum for us.
We should probably explain this stupidity since we joked about how the gum can possibly be good when they first announced the Shoto figures, and then it got funnier when the U.S. international release did not have the gum.
Because we all know, like, the gum is literally just so they can sell it in the candy aisle.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's the thing. Waves 2 and 3, I ordered the special version from Premium Bandai USA. But Wave 1, we didn't know Premium Bandai USA was going to get them. So I actually ordered from Nippon Yasan, who has horrible communication. And I only just got the first one like a week ago.
God damn.
Yeah. So
I gotta say that gum looks very different than I honestly did picture baseball card sticks.
Yeah, I didn't picture stick. I thought it was going to be like generic small pellet, which this is basically pellet gum in a different shape. So
it looks like a chiclet.
And then I put up the Twitter poll as a gag because I was like, it would almost be funnier if we actually waited and I mailed the two because I have exactly 3 pieces. But I decided, I promised I'd do it, so I put up the poll.
You're gonna spare us.
Yeah. So I guess should I mute myself so you guys don't hear me chewing? I guess
we don't give a shit.
I think we need. What was that?
Should I mute it so you don't hear me chewing?
I'd say no.
Okay.
I just want to get the live report here.
Okay. So I'm opening.
Okay. So you're gonna try this? Okay. I'll dial the 9 and the 1 and give you the signal.
First, I'm smelling this. Just there's no smell at all, and you normally expect gum to have like a sugary fruit smell. Okay.
Getting some fragrance here.
Depends on if it's like the texture of the gum, because some have like that kind of candy-ish or that lacquered outside.
Yeah, if it has a candy shell, it's probably not going to smell like anything.
It has the candy shell. Yeah. It oddly does taste like Ramune, where it's kind of citrusy, but it has like a weird. What's the that citrus powder you add to stuff? Where so it adds the citrus, like the sour tang, but not the flavor.
Something acid, citric acid.
Yeah. It has like a light citrus taste, but no specific like. If I were, you know what the weird thing is? This, like, it's not like lime, lemon, or anything like that. I want to call it. I jokingly want to call it blue. like I chew it and it's citrusy, but there's no specific like. Like there is a flavor to it.
It's not identifiable as like an actual fruit.
No, I literally I'm sitting here going and like it's definitely a citrus fruit, but it's not a citrus fruit I can identify. And my mind does get taken back to trying the drink, and the one that I remember trying was blue. So it's just like blue.
So it's basically like this watered down mellow yellow taste.
Basically, yeah. I guess I was
it
expecting
tastes
more.
like cleaning products smell.
Yes, yes, that is exactly it. That's exactly it. Where it's like that fake, where it's kind of like that.
It tastes like Mr. Clean.
Oh my god, I didn't think about it until it's like sitting there cleaning a window with Windex.
That's ammonia.
Well, no, but you know what I mean, where they generally like put a lemon scent there.
Yeah,
just to make you feel
it
like
depends
it's
on the. Oh,
more
you get
clean
the
than it
lemon
actually
scented
is.
glass cleaner, Mr. Fancy.
Didn't say I bought it. But what's weird is it's not unpleasant, and the flavor's actually still. I guess I was expecting it to be like Fruit Stripe.
And
It's like
just
you
goes.
chew it 5 seconds and it's
Yeah.
gone.
Well, I sent AR the gift last night of Peter Griffin with Fruit Stripe. He's like, "Oh, Fruit Stripe gum, chew chew chew, aw." But like the flavor's still there. It's kind of, I would rank it pleasant but kind of flavorless, where it's kind of like a weak generic gum. But it's not bad.
Like, this is something that you grab in the airport, literally, so your ears don't explode when you go up in the plane.
Ironically, I think my noise reduction means that when I'm not talking, you guys couldn't hear me chewing.
No, actually, we couldn't.
Okay, that's probably better because I don't think you guys need the smack, smack, smack.
Galhart suggested to make a good ASMR video.
Okay, I'm gonna spit this out.
Frame it for posterity.
No, it's in tissue, and I'm throwing it in a trash can. It was pleasant enough. See, that actually ended up more pleasant than I thought. I actually kind of wish I did send it to you guys, just because I don't know how to explain the flavor.
I think we explained it pretty well.
Yeah, shocking.
I kind of can picture it already.
Yeah. Well, I'm still alive, so that worked.
Yeah, I mean,
For now.
generally, it's healthier than drinking Mr. Clean.
Yeah. Well, that's why I got the vaccine doses first.
Yeah.
iPod flavor.
The gum is the source of COVID. I will say this: the one weird thing, I expected the gum to be blue. I guess because it goes back to the first Ramune that I never know how to say it. Yeah, I know it's lemonade basically,
Ramune.
but the first one I ever tried was like a generic blue flavor. So anytime I think of it, it's blue.
Yeah. See, you describe the flavor as blue, and I immediately think it's okay. It's the opposite of orange.
Yes, it's what the problem is. It doesn't have like. It doesn't have a specific.
It's the old Lewis Black routine. Like NyQuil comes in 2 flavors, red and green. It comes in 2 colors, red and green. It's the only thing in the world that tastes like red and green.
Yes, yes. This tastes like citrus blue. Whatever you think citrus blue is, you're correct.
That's. Yeah, I'm going back to that brings me back to Windex. Yeah. Except the original Windex and not the scented kind.
Well,
it just tastes like ammonia.
You're not wrong. It's weird because it did not have a taste that I would describe as a taste I want, but it was not unpleasant, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now
this is a taste that's in my mouth right now.
So, AR, where can they find you, and do you have anything coming up?
No, I've got Digimon.firstagent.net as my review blog. First Agent ARP is my Twitter. Don't have anything this week. Next week should have a new Nexus World, and you can find me. I think I'm gonna go drink some Windex now.
Dev, what Wikimon article do you want people to read? There's only one acceptable answer, Dev. You better have it.
Corunamon?
I was gonna say Citramon.
Oh, that's a good one.
Read Corunamon and Citramon to celebrate Dev having coronavirus and me tasting a gum of some sort of citrus that we are not sure of.
Citramon probably tastes better than the gum.
And because AR made the joke and Galhart made the joke, I feel we should point out, please do not drink Windex.
No, do not drink Windex.
Yes.
Windexmon.
Even after you're vaccinated.
Yes. I can be found on With the Will as always. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And of course, we will be back next week without gum.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys laugh, but like for Christmas, I'm gonna mail you the fucking gum with a Christmas card or something. It's gonna be a Christmas card that says "Eat it, bitch" or something like that, and there's just a piece of gum falls out.
Yeah, but now we know what to expect. Kind of.
See, now I want to send it to you just so that if you get it, you go, man, that really does fucking taste like blue.
This is indeed what blue tastes like.
Yes. So we will catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in and listening, and enjoy your gum. Thank you, and good night. Bye.
Bye.